Hello, hello, hello. It's been a while since we've done this, isn't it? But you know what? That changes today, as it is my pleasure to welcome you to Iron Fist, presented by Maestro and sponsored by Logitech G. We have 3 days of competitive Quake action, and really, the storylines will simply continue. From the end of QuakeCon, where we have Vengeur, the world champ, from even after that, the countless community tournaments all around the world online that still happen to this day, as you love to see with Quake. Feels nice and old school in a way, but we haven't had a studio show in what feels like forever. And I think I speak for a lot of people when I say, I'm very excited to see what happens this weekend. My name's Ketchup, running you through all of the action. I'll be joined by talented casters, but the important thing is the quality of players. I use the word storyline very specifically because what I love about Quake, whether it was Pro League, whether it was anything else, is that everyone in the community has their own story to tell and their own personal journey. Going into this weekend's action, where we'll be starting out getting through those, I think, beginnings of the winner's bracket. It's a double elimination tournament, though, keep in mind, because there's going to be plenty more Quake where that came from. All of the action can be found on this Twitch. There are other channels out there as well for different languages, so shout-outs to them. Check them all out by all means. But I think it's enough of this quick little mini introduction, isn't it? I want to take a look at that bracket and see what players are going to be going head to head. I really cannot wait to see that first matchup, because we get to see Vengeur in action, see what kind of, I think, shape he's working on. But his opponent, Wolf, you'd never believe me if I said this guy's played about 2 months worth of Quake Champions. Like, look, the guy was playing Quake for a long time. Not so much the latest installment. And here he is in the bracket. Now, players did have to qualify for 4 of the spots, and that was Buckster, Sib, Wolf, and Effortless, all of which will be found in today's bracket. And everyone else was done by invitation through all of their success throughout the course of the Quake Pro League. Now, there's lots of matches to get through, plenty of time to get it done, and I'd like to now throw you over to all of our talented casters, where I ask them the question, what matchup are you looking forward to the most?
That's a very good question indeed, Ryan, because there was quite a few in the winners bracket. You have to feel Dan from what we saw from there. I think, Zeneku Nosfer would be a great one. Even for Wolf as well, we don't really know what to expect. Played for, what, 9 weeks, 200 hours, and he's here right now, and we have absolutely no idea what to expect.
I don't think Vengeur does either, so that's going to be really interesting. But as you said, it's a really weird time. We've come off the back of what is, nearly 2 years of consistent week-on-week-on up Quake, and now these guys have had a little bit of time to de-stress, a little bit of time to relax, and now they're back at the big time in one space together for, God knows how long. So that's really exciting to see how everyone's at, but where we're at. But we also get to see, as Ryan rightly pointed out, the world champion. Young old Vengeur is back on the big stage, playing against the unknown that is Wolf, but he's not an unknown. He's been in Quake for a long time. He's just new to the Quake champion scene. So hopefully he can bring a new dynamic, and I don't think he's going to upset Vengeur, but hopefully give him a good match. Yeah,
make it as competitive as possible, because like he said before, he's been around for like 20 years. I think he peaked back in QL in 2016, but we don't really know a huge amount, because like I said, 9 weeks, 200 hours, it's not a huge amount, but he's obviously escalated very quickly, even making it through the qualifiers. And he's still been looking pretty good so far. He's had some close matchups. He said he's feeling no pressure at all, and why should he really? Right. He's technically the underdog. He's, a potential dark horse considering the circumstances here. But yeah, from what I've seen so far on scrims and that, he's looking pretty good, but, this is a tall order. This is the world champion. This is Vengeur of all people, and it's the first matchup of the day, first match on stream as well. Must feel at least a little bit of pressure. Just a tad.
A little bit. I don't even know if he's been to LAN. He may have been in Quake Live LAN. So this is a new experience for him. But no, he's been in practicing. He's been in really good shape. But I think we should actually go and have a look at the picks and bans to see what he's bringing to the table. As we said, we don't know what his dynamic is going to be. We don't know what champions he favors. And so this is definitely going to reveal a lot to us. So we actually get to start on Keep. And I know Vengeur thinks that's the map for him. Picks it up straight up, and Strog versus Galena. So pretty old school meta. I mean, coming from the Quake Live stage, as we said, I understand that transition, and you often want to favor those kind of VQ3 style champions. And Galena is just one of those. Super strong. I do think he'll struggle a little bit against the pace that Vengeur wants to set on that, though.
And it doesn't surprise me at all, because for Wolf, for him especially, he said, you know, for Exile, he feels like he can't really do anything on that map. It's definitely one of his worst maps by an absolute mile anyway. Vengeur decided to ban Ruins, where he's been a little bit hit and miss against a lot of the opponents, and I think he's just trying to be really safe and secure of this matchup, considering the circumstances he's in. And Deep Embrace, from what I've heard for Wolf, this is one of his best maps to go into. At least he'll feel a little bit comfortable after that first map.
You'd think so? But he's also picked Keel. We know what Keel brings to the table, right? Super strong, super tanky, but the pace that Vengeur can set with that Ranger is absurd. And then we're going to end up on Fools if we get there, which obviously we hope we do. We have the Swordlight coming out for Wolf, and I think the Ison for Vengeur, which is a little bit different, the Ison on Fools. I don't think we'll get there. Looking at the map picks, looking at the champion picks, if I'm honest, and obviously the difference in expectation for skill. But yeah, he's got a chance if he gets Deep Embrace, early start with a Keel, can cement himself on the high ground. Maybe he can upset. You do snowball. Even the best players we've seen on there, you know, I remember Kilson Cypher back in the day getting absolutely destroyed. You can snowball. I don't think it's going to happen though, but we'll have to see.
Yeah, we will. It's going to be extremely tough indeed. You know, with that matchup as well on Cut to Keep, you said it's pretty standard. You're absolutely spot on there. Even with the strong pick, he can be very difficult to contend with, especially some of the items across the map on a number of occasions. It just depends on his posture, his defensive setup, how he's going to prep for these items, especially with the Galena as well, where he's going to pop those totems as well across the board. And I think, you know, Vengeur needs to get a good indicator of exactly what happens and just keep those totems in check. But with the Strog, yeah, he's going to be pretty safe from that.
That's my worry. We know how, you know, dominant Vengeur can be in the best of times. Then put him on Keep as well. Pretty much his favorite map, if not his favorite map. And Keep is just one of these maps where you have to play to perfection. And it can get out of control so quickly. And my understanding of Wolf, when I've watched him, he's aggressive. And that pays off well. But if you get behind Lethal, you're in a bit of trouble. And then you have Vengeur, somebody that is the master of not only defensive play, slowing down the game, and then taking away from you when he gets in control. So that balancing act is something that Vengeur's refined and perfected. I don't know if Wolf has come up against someone of that level of caliber yet.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. You know, it is a tall order. We're not going to beat around the bush here. We know it's going to be very, very tough here for Wolf. Like I said, first match of the day, first match on stream as well. First time, you know, in this kind of studio environment. It's going to be very, very difficult for him to pretty much say the least. But even for Wolf now, though, it's like I said, no pressure. He's just got to try and do his best, keep the scores close. And even if he keeps the scores close anyway, it will make him feel a little bit more comfortable no matter what happens in this matchup straight afterwards. And this is where it's going to be very, very tough indeed. But like we said, he has Deep Embrace, where at least he's got an element of comfort. But the problem is, yeah, you're right.
How comfortable are you if you're down 5 minutes after 4 minutes? Right? And that's what I think is going to happen. We just know how fast Vengeur can play on that map. And with the Ranger as well, the orb off the bat, he can very quickly just take, particularly that heavy armor away, just jump up there, surprise the kill, and already, it feels a bit dangerous. But
yeah, it's going to be very tough indeed, but the match will get underway very shortly here. Our first matchup of the day between Vengeur and Wolf to see exactly what Wolf can bring to the table. Like I said, we know very little about him, but it could create an impact depending on the circumstances here. And it will be, of course, you know, a tall order for Wolf. But we'd love to see exactly what he can bring. I hope it will be as close and competitive as possible. Needs to come out the gates really strong if he wants to try and make something work, something happen on the day. Maybe he can catch him off guard. You know, it's, you know, first thing, you know, in the morning or, you know, lunchtime for our time anyway. So maybe able to, you know, get something done here. But it's like I said, though, you know, with the aggression from Vengeur, it is one of his best maps to start off with. And it's going to be very, very tough indeed. And you can tell as well from Wolf, you know, he'd rather ban a map he's definitely uncomfortable with rather than banning his best pick.
You got to go with what you're comfortable with. That's exactly it. And you got to take into consideration, as we've just talked about at length, right? Wolf has come into this game fresh. He's obviously watched it a lot, but it's very different to get into a server and to play the map. And it takes such a long time to get to grips, to know the angles, to just understand the flow and the dynamics. So this is going to be scary, but we're jumping into it on the Vengeur POV. Up on that struggle already, setting the pace, setting it early, got himself a rocket, hasn't got the lightning gun, so he'll obviously be a bit wary on the mid-range. To see what Wolf is doing as well.
Yeah, just biding his time at the moment, just not playing with his food as of yet, but just trying to keep the high ground at the moment. Is showing a lot of respect for Wolf here, because he needs to get a feel out exactly what he's like as an opponent. He's already gone straight into the red room already, is now trying to back away. Is Vengeur now just going straight for the LG, just dropping down to see what he can find. Picks up the Mega straight afterwards. And it's going to be a little bit of an issue here. Now Vengeur's now pushing straight in with the LG. Already done a huge chunk of damage already, and Vengeur's looking to try and finish things up. And look at that, Wolf actually gets the first initial frag and picks up the heavy.
He does indeed, as we go back to see a good old second. Also, with that first round, we talked about sending those down. He was going in aggressive, he actually fails the jump, down and doesn't do enough damage. So once he got off the boards early, lethal. Now in a bit of trouble.
Death is the only release.
Rotation.
I will not grant you that privilege.
With Vengeur still on 92 HP, just trying to make sure to stay alive and stand around to get the heavy, which he does do successfully here. Finish things off, and that is going to be Vengeur with the lead here. First time in this matchup. To do it, yes he will, as Vengeur now increases his lead further, 3-1.
He does indeed. Wolf though off the bat, he's not really doing it. Risky move. Not sure he sees it up, but this is a bit of a bait from Vengeur. He's separation now. Vengeur's also taking down the totems as we just discussed. Able to keep it away now.
Be healed.
Himself a heavy. At what cost though? He's got pretty well. He knows that. He's more than happy for him to run the map. Still Vengeur. Just defending those totems. Setting up this next Mega. Also now, what a here. Move, and it's not going to work out.
Trade throughs, and they're both the same stab here, but we're just going to miss a couple here, but at the moment at least manages to get away, and you know, on this map especially, and actually well known, finishing definitely doing some justice, but the problem is the way Vengeur's travelling around the map with some great agility and movement speed across the board. It's going to be very tough to try and stand his ground and keep on his toes here. Is now Wolf just playing it slow, just trying to play for the audio cues here, just trying to see exactly what is Vengeur up to at the moment. Doesn't find anything as of yet, says he's just still just standing his ground, just above the shoddy, just to see exactly what he can find.
Yeah, Wolf's playing a dangerous game. He's letting Vengeur run the map. He's been caught out once again. Vengeur, he actually leaves up that heavy, thinking Wolf is in the vicinity, so he steals it away. So whilst I said he's playing a dangerous game, he gets away with it for now. But again, this Vengeur's just isolating him away from that crucial weapon with the lightning gun. And we can see him just jumping around corners, catching Wolf off guard. Here comes the peak and does some damage as well. And once again, Wolf is a bit of a sitting duck over in the corner. Vengeur doesn't need to press too hard, giving the respect he needs, and again, keeping that distance, picking him off with the lightning gun. Just off the spawn. Look at the pressure coming out from Vengeur. You can see it with Wolf POV here, just can't even move. Vengeur's all in his face.
I thought to myself, well, do you know what? At least Wolf can catch him off guard. You know, it's early, it's the first match of the day, but Vengeur's absolutely on it at the moment. He is not mucking around here. Some great spawn kills off the bat. And Wolf now just done his own. Got some good rockets actually, so gets another frag to his name. Only 3 behind in all fairness, and he's already put up a pretty decent fight so far.
Yeah, the score's manageable. 4 minutes gone, he's kept it to 6-3. I did feel the snowball was going to be stronger from Vengeur. He's let a few items slip, whether that's a bit of mistiming, some respect for Wolf. Either way, he's keeping himself in this game, which is exactly what he has to do. And that will definitely fill him with some confidence moving forward. This is good. He's got the weapons he needs. He's got a rotation. He's got the item timings now. So he's setting up early for this Mega. Will Vengeur respect that? He does. He's a little bit late and he doesn't get any damage. And here comes Wolf with the pressure. Vengeur though doubles back, catches him in the air. Wolf gets away to push over towards that heavy.
Yeah, and like he said, he has the timings, but Vengeur hasn't been left any room. He's trying to put a little bit of pressure onto these items, but still just out of reach here. But still doing a fair amount of damage there. Gets a 48 on that last rocket here, just add a little bit more to the collection here. Vengeur's now dropping down to see if it can contest that Mega, but looks like he's going to be going for the light instead. Just in the meantime, Mega is still up, and you can see already Wolf is actually not playing too badly. Doesn't seem to be, in terms of his posture and his character and how he's playing this matchup, he's not panicking, he's not feeling, any pressure. Just again, the way he was standing his ground for that Mega. He's playing a very well-disciplined game, still trying to bait out Vengeur as much as possible, and it's looking pretty solid here for Wolf.
It is, and he's doing the basics well. He's timing well. Once again, coming in aggressive. Got a lot of damage. Didn't get the frag though, so he has to start from square one. Mega's coming up soon. Wolf knows when it is. That's why he's pushing in here. But just look at the damage he's doing. Yes, he lost a frag, but the damage he's done means he can contest the items. The strategy fails, obviously, if you don't get a clean frag or you don't do significant damage. But until then, it is the right approach. He's pushing in. He's taking these items. Once again, good item timing from Wolf, pressuring Vengeur, not letting him go with anything, and the peak is up, but he doesn't even need it.
No, not at all. Just another one to the tally here. Dan is already now just going from the LG, trying to get top mid control, now trying to find out the whereabouts where Wolf is going to be here. Just a few predicted rockets just to see if he can find anything, but nothing as of yet here. But I will say this though, you know, you've got to remember, Vengeur's the current world champion, you know, won QuakeCon only a few months ago. So the fact that he's able to really keep Vengeur on guard for a lot of his items shows some clear signs, and we haven't really seen any signs of panic or, you know, any type of overextension. Yeah, sure, you know, there's a few times with the tri-bolt here and there, but he's just trying to get that damage done to really try and do something here. But now switching back, it looks like Wolf's going to take that fight and manages to engage and win that one.
Yeah, Vengeur's struggling a little bit with Wolf's combat skill, but there you go. This might be the clean frag he needed. This is the first time really all set so far. He's got such a clean frag. Wolf coming aggressive with that super shotgun. Not doing, again, enough damage. Vengeur will be picking this up.
Yeah, we're talking about the spiral, and it looks like it could be happening, but it looks like it's going to be stopped in its tracks. There's at least 2 occasions where it really could have spiraled out of control, but the way Wolf is contesting this heavy on the odd occasion here and there, he's done a fantastic job just to make sure to keep Vengeur on guard at all times and not giving these items up easily. And he's actually got away with it very well.
He has, but whilst we were talking and giving credit to Wolf where it's due, we have to talk about the time lethal. He's kept the scoreline manageable, but now the clock is the real challenge for Wolf. Can he get back into it? He needs a frag now, and he needs to get a clean one at that. It will be getting both. Wolf has an opportunity here to get real back into this game.
And you've got to remember, this is one of Vengeur's best maps. We know it's known as Razy Keeps on the odd occasion, but for Vengeur now, needs to try and establish a little bit more dominance, but you can see already Wolf's bringing a lot of flair to the server here. Vengeur on 50 HP, but look at the amount of damage he did with the Pika, just every time just utilising it to its full ability. And again, now this is where Vengeur could get a little bit out of control, but once again, Wolf just standing his ground, just trying to control the aggression here from Vengeur.
Yeah, it does feel like it's a little bit too far now. There was a big opportunity there if he got the frag, but the Pika came up at the perfect time. Great utility from Vengeur. Looks like he might even get another frag here if Wolf comes in aggressive, which he just has to at this point. There's just not enough time lethal to bide it. 6 frags the difference, minute and a half to go. Now it's just about momentum going into deep. I think looking at this game, he performed more than admirably. You know? None of us has seen him play at this level. He's taken Vengeur more or less to the wire, as good as he could have done. It might snowball a bit further away now, but nevertheless, this was closer than it's looking so far. And he shows all of the signs of having the right skills to play a good game on deep. You know, we saw the timing coming out. He actually out-timed Vengeur. He had good item control, and just the weapon choice and the aggression choice was catching Vengeur off guard, and he wasn't used to it. It made Vengeur look uncomfortable, which is pretty unusual.
Yeah, it's something we didn't really expect from Wolf, but it's nice to see as well. And I think, yeah, a little bit of an orthodox approach. You know, a lot of times when you face against some of these players, I think Vengeur maybe assumed on a lot of occasions when he went for some of these items and didn't expect Wolf to be contesting it with, you know, the weapons in his arsenal, which he currently had at each and every time. And yeah, and even with his combat skills, you're right, though, you know, seems to be, you know, on par especially. So definitely Wolf to be reckoned with. And that's probably the first time we've seen the peak of this game where it doesn't really do a huge amount, but of course, the score does not reflect that, and 14-7 here. Vengeur now just looking to try, well, you could say it's pretty much sealed the deal here already, just to add a little bit more to the scoreline now with 30 seconds left remaining. But I kind of feel like in terms of like the nerves and the jitters here, especially being in this studio environment once again, I think he's going to be okay with how he performed.
100%. He should be more than happy with how he performed. And you look at the scoreline, like I said, it's definitely closer than the 7-frag game as it suggests. Wolf had long periods of that game when he was in control. And even when he wasn't in control, the fact that he was always challenging for the items really upset Vengeur's rhythm. So that was good. Again, there is a lot of things that have to go right in those situations for it to happen. And Deep Embrace is even more of a snowball map. So who knows how that's going to play out. But like I said, I've seen enough in that match to suggest that Wolf can take it further. And now we move on to a map with Rail as well, meaning if he is on the back foot, he can fall back onto that utility. And again, being here over the last few days, watching these guys practice, he goes on these streaks where he could just be hitting huge amounts of rails, huge amounts of damage across the board. So if that begins to click for him, you never know, Lethal.
You never know indeed. No, it's just interesting in itself. It's like we said, I think we discussed it a little bit as well. Like, we wasn't expecting this kind of scoreline, but the fact that he got that many frags, it's going to put him in a nice comfort zone. But we saw a lot of elements of that. For example, you know, the odd occasion where he actually baited the Mega, where normally if you do get, you know, the offline kind of jitters, then yeah, it's very easy just to quickly, you know, just jump on that Mega straight away without even trying to bait it out at all. But we saw little elements here, and especially with the heavy, where I don't think Vengeur even expected Wolf just to jump in like that and still somehow win out in those engagements, which I was a little bit surprised. And he definitely didn't have the weapons in his arsenal. And I did speak to Wolf quite a lot yesterday and this morning to see how he's feeling. And he's just like, do you know what? I haven't got any pressure. Yes, I've got a little bit to try and prove myself. But at the same time, no, it's not him. It's Vengeur with all the pressure here. As we're just going through the picks and bans again, it will be Deep Embrace coming up next. And how do you feel about this matchup? Because, you know, for Vengeur especially, you already know that Wolf, he said it's his best map, so at least a little bit further in his comfort zone. But for Vengeur, though, you know, his verticality and how he performs in this match, in terms of his aerodynamics and everything else, is just ridiculous.
Yeah, it's one of those things where, you know, at the start of the Deep Embrace meta, if you will, we saw a lot of Keel. And for good reason. It was tanky. It could really control the high ground just due to that stack and the refragging potential. But then as the kind of the QPL developed, I felt it fell off a little bit because people were picking up these faster, more utility-based champions. We saw Athenas, we saw Strogs, we saw Rangers, as Vengeur has got, because they can set the tempo. They can really pressure the Keel. And as people begun to discover new angles and understand where they should be positioning, so the lighter champions become more valuable. And then you add another layer in terms of the slight heavy nerf as well. All of that combined to me says Keel it's a comfort pick, but I don't think it's the best pick. And so if he can slow the pace down and he can play that high ground and stop Vengeur from getting up there, yeah, he's in with a shout. But if he doesn't, we know how powerful Vengeur can be.
Yeah, the guy can be absolutely ridiculous. Let's see if he can bring more of it, though. But Dan, I like what I'm seeing at the moment from Wolf. Honestly, I really am. But it's all about, you know, we're talking about spiraling out of control. We didn't really see that on the last map, but Deep Embrace, we could definitely see it. But I think with the kill pick from Wolf, at least it will give him a little bit more pressure when it's on to contesting the items, especially for that heavy later on here. So a little bit of a slower approach coming out. He's still got the LG and the heavy machine gun, so at least he can do a lot of damage close range, but also just try and keep his opponent at bay for as long as physically possible, and try and contest some of the weaponry as well as he pushes around. But already been railed off the get-go straight away. The first one coming up from Vengeur. Wolf trying to hold the top ground, but already Vengeur goes straight in with that dive already, and now just holding the top and just waiting for him on the re.
Yeah, that's definitely not the spot he needed. He's now obviously just got caught off the spawn. Vengeur's pressuring, but has to get away. He knows how annoying, at the very least, those grenades can be. Just biding his time, and there's a clean rail.
Lovely stuff here from Vengeur. Was wondering, or just curious to see exactly how this matchup's going to change with a rail in hand, and of course Vengeur doing what he does best already. Holding that top mid control, realises Wolf is just flanking around from the rail, comes out with the LG, but these rails that Vengeur's hit it too. He's going to go for another one, but doesn't clean it up in the end. But the damage has already been done here, Dan. And now looking to hit him again on the light. This is just unbearable to watch for Wolf, but Vengeur's just looking clean at the start of the day.
Oh my God. And we talk about, you know, Wolf getting into a rhythm, but now Vengeur has started feeling himself. That's 6 rails in a row. And what is Wolf meant to do? Vengeur with perfect timing, even checking his rail stats there. The full rocket to boot. Oh, Wolf was connected with a little bit of damage there, so he can push back off the spawns. Vengeur has to be careful, but he's just done so much work that Wolf doesn't really know what's hit him. And I know we don't have the outlines, I know we don't have the timers, but I really enjoy watching it like this because you get to see just how amazing some of these shots are. You know, when you see the outlines, it doesn't look as great as it is when Vengeur's barely seeing the scalp, the bald head of Keel pocking over the parapet, and he's managed to hit it time and time again. Big rocket coming out from Wolf, though, as we're celebrating Vengeur's success. And now he should be able to slow it down, but not able to get up to the heavy. Being the big man, has to take the long road round, and Vengeur just pops out with 2 rails in a row. Sets Wolf back to square one.
So he has these rails back and forth as well, just constantly smacking across the face of Wolf and just trying to do everything he can. He's only got a shotty at the moment and he's just trying to find a way in, but I don't think there's any way into at all the way Wenger's playing right now. This is a completely different style of play from Vengeur from what we saw compared to that first map on Corrupted Keep, where it was a much closer affair, but this time around it seems to be a completely different style. We're still quite early though, 3 minutes into this matchup here, but the train's still flowing here from Vengeur, just trying to do a little bit more, but some good LG damage here from Wolf. He's not available as of yet, but he is now, so he's got to be extra cautious on the surroundings, on where the whereabouts of Vengeur could be here, but it looks like he's just going to bide his time for now. And look at his weapons here, Daz. I haven't really got much to work with apart from that heavy machine gun. I only got a few shots with the shotty, not much with the LG. Surely at some stage, still keeping it back though, but one more rail should do it, and it looks like Vengeur's not going to take the risk as of yet.
I mean, you don't need to. Look how much work he'll have to do now to get back into the game. As you pointed out, he doesn't have the weapons he needs to challenge Vengeur. He's on the low ground with only hit scan, hasn't got a rail. There's no way he could do anything to Vengeur. He's literally running around like a pincushion. It's just getting picked apart by Vengeur time and time again. And this was the worry we had, Lethal. It's just the speed difference for the Ranger, the utility difference. He could just burst up onto that high ground, lay the smackdown onto his opponent and get away with a rocket jump, all in the while taking very little damage. And when he's hitting, you know, nigh on 60–70% rail, what are you meant to do?
Rail back with 80%?
Oh yeah, for sure. Thanks for the advice, mate.
Cheers, that's all right. I thought I'll just sneak that in there, but even at this point, no, just look what's going on. Vengeur on 19 HP though after that, but still wins that last initial engagement, gets the spawn rail straight after, still able to keep himself in it, but that first rail was so important. Of course, Wolf realizes how weak Vengeur was, but even after that first rail, just barely misses that last one. He's just going to bide his time in, just see if he can keep him at bay. A couple of good shots there, hits another rail. Just literally just isn't stopping here, just not letting go of the W key right now. Just honestly, the directors are just making matters worse. Vengeur, the flick as well. And I'm sure Wolf is going to be feeling that 8-1, and we're not even at the halfway stage here. Hitting another one back to back, and Vengeur's just not letting up here, Dan.
Now he's filling us up, but this is the territory where I was worried. You know, where that aggression becomes almost futile and almost a bit counterproductive, if anything, because you're throwing away frag after frag, eating damage. I don't even think I've seen Wolf use the rail, let alone have it at this point in the game. And, you know, Vengeur's fired 20-30. 60–70% hit rate. It's just absolutely destroying Wolf, and it's painful for Wolf fans out there, but it's absolutely glorious for us to see Vengeur back in action once again, showing us why he is that QuakeCon champion.
Yeah, he's definitely going to be feeling a little bit more demoralized here, as now Vengeur just still holding his ground on the heavy, still managed to pick that up nicely after that last rail hit, but the LG now coming out strong for Vengeur, stops him in his tracks before he even engaged to go for that mega. But Wolf is still trying to contest some of his items, but yeah, again, we spoke about before, you know, the lack of weapons in his arsenal. Also, Vengeur just constantly on guarded. This is the form we expected from Vengeur coming out of this, especially the studio environment here. And Wolf now going down again, 11-1 down, 4 minutes left here. I think the curtain call is coming here for Wolf.
I think it's already, it's already down.
Halfway down.
Exactly, yeah. Because you're at that point in the game where you're so far behind that you need to make something happen, but you don't have any utility to make that happen, and you have no momentum. And so you are just throwing your body at the wall, hoping something sticks. And unfortunately for Wolf, it is Vengeur that's doing all the sticking. It's just been absolutely joyful to watch. We thought map 1 was a real great contest start to finish. Vengeur started, obviously got the upper edge, but this map has been another level. When as we see Wolf from now, his POV, just to see how is he going to get this comeback, because 3.5 minutes to go. I mean, what kind of chance do you have to give to someone that's brand new to the scene against the world champion?
Yeah, it's giving them definitely a lesson here, especially from what we've seen so far. Just completely different style. These rockets are just hitting consistently, just from some great angles here from Vengeur. You can see Wolf is getting a little bit frustrated, just trying to be a little bit too aggressive and just going straight into those rockets of Vengeur now. And checking to see if he's gone round light to the rail, but he hasn't as of yet. But finds him though on the heavy. This will be a good time for Vengeur now to try and do a little bit more damage with the rockets. Almost hits him with the rail here, but realizes that, of course, the heavy is going to get picked up. Needs to back away. He is railable, and luckily for Vengeur, he gets away, doesn't get railed, doesn't get taken down, gets the mega straight afterwards, and he's looking a lot better as he gets behind Wolf straight away with the LG battle. 10 HP is left here, and Vengeur does manage to get away with that somehow, some way.
Just Vengeur things, mate. Just Vengeur things. But this time, yeah, he's low, 40 HP, just waiting it out for this heavy. Doesn't have the orb as well, but I mean, you can see Wolf struggling to get onto the high ground, and this is something we talked about again. Just the lack of capabilities to move around the map. He's such a big lad. You can't get onto the high ground. It's quite a difficult jump, particularly when it's being defended by Vengeur, and he's trying to make this progressive push once again, but we spoke about it. This map is more than over. He's slowly get back in control, but this is the first time in 8 minutes he's had any semblance of items.
And of course, this is a best of 3, so if Wolf doesn't find at least 11 frags to keep himself in the next couple of minutes, then that's going to be his winner's bracket run over, and he will be going straight into the loser's side. And Vengeur, of course, is just going to make sure of that, just trying to recover from that last engagement. And still, though, just shows what difference a rail makes here, Dan. And I think we assumed we would see a little bit more from Wolf, considering it was on Deep Embrace. Like, I did speak to Wolf, he did say that, like, it's one of his go-to maps especially, and he actually did better on Vengeur's pick. But of course, with a rail in play, what a difference this has made.
Yeah, we spoke about, the fact that Wolf had the rail at disposal. We completely ignored the proficiency of Vengeur in that conversation, and you can see what he brings. And my biggest fear came to light, which was just the champion difference. Like, I understand Kiel from a ranked perspective. That's where Wolf's biggest practice has come from. Mainly, it's playing ranked. Obviously, there's scrims and everything else, but by and large, he's going to be a ranked player at this point. And yes, it's much better in that situation. When you go up against the best who know how to exploit the deficiencies of the champion, that's where you run into trouble. And Vengeur has shown us exactly why a champion like Ranger is just better. He picked it first. The response from Wolf was Kiel, and unfortunately it was a big factor in the reason why he lost this game. I don't think he could have picked anything that would have won him this game, if you know what I mean, but at least made it more of a contest.
Yeah, it seems to be that 25 seconds left now is pretty much done and dusted here. I probably said at least a few minutes ago, definitely around that halfway stage here. Of course, for Wolf, it's definitely a learning experience. Quite a big one, considering what he's had to go through. Stovo just adding to the tally. But in the first matchup, though, in that first moment, we have to go back to it as well. He's going to be feeling confident from that going into the loser's side as well later on today. So that's going to be GG. That's going to be a 2-0 in favour of Vengeur. Almost hitting the 20 bomb, but it doesn't matter here. 19-2. Vengeur's going to be pretty pleased about that. It was very dicey in that first map, but it seems to be for the second map, just a blowout.
Just a blowout, but there you go. Lovely to see. Look at those kicks on Vengeur as well. He's flexing that QuakeCon win. But I think what I did like about Wolf's play is the fact that he has a philosophy. He likes to play aggressive. He likes to play strong, and he played to it. Start to finish, map 1 to end of map 2, he stuck to his guns. He wanted to play his tempo. Obviously, it didn't work. Map 1 much closer as we discussed, but map 2, we got to see some good Quake, just not from Wolf.